today I'm here for Jenni Bowlin Studio to show you how to make this really easy tag garland with Jenni Bowlin products and a little bit of fabric. So here's how. For the first tag, I'm starting with a mini bingo card and a scrap of cardstock cut to the same size. To create a stencil, use a punch on the scrap cardstock and then you can just hold it in place over the bingo card. I'm using a red paint dabber from the Jenni Bowlin for Ranger collection, so I don't have to worry about a brush or any sort of cleanup. Just hold or clip the stencil in place, then tap the paint dabber. Hold it straight up so you won't get any paint slipping under the edge of the stencil. We're going to cover the middle of the circle with further embellishment, so don't worry about getting the color exactly even in the center or anything. It's the edges that are going to show on the finished tag. So just take your time going around the edge and make sure that all the little scallops from your punched stencil will show. Once you've finished painting, remove the stencil and let the bingo card dry. Repeat that for as many cards as you want to have the tags in your garland. Next, we're going to make a fabric flower to sit in the middle of the painted circle. Start by punching a circle from a scrap of cardstock. The color doesn't really matter as it's not going to show. Make sure the circle is smaller than the area you've just painted. Cover the circle with double-sided tape. I'm using the red super sticky tape because it provides a good hold even for items that will be on display. It comes in sheets, which would be a lot easier since you could just punch them the same size as a circle, but I only have the regular tape at the moment, so I just cut strips and covered up the circle. To create the flower, tear a piece of fabric about 1 inch wide and at least 12 inches long. The frayed edges will add some character, so don't worry about making them too perfect. Then we'll roll this fabric and stick it to the double-sided tape to make the flower. Just fold one end in a bit so you have something that will stick to the center of the punch circle, and then you can press it into place in the middle of the circle. Then you're going to twist the fabric and roll it around the center, creating a spiral or a snail shell type shape. With the double-sided tape, you can just keep pressing it into place as you go. It'll only take you a minute or so to make the whole flower. Just keep twisting the fabric with one hand and pressing it into place with the other. And just keep going around and around in a circle. If you're making this with fabric, like if you wanted to wear it in your hair, or you wanted to put it onto a cardigan and make a little corsage that you could wear, then instead of using the paper and the adhesive, you'd want to use fabric. And then you could either use it with a fusible web that you can iron on and then get the sticky by using the iron. Or you can even use hot glue, or of course you can stitch it. But for paper, it's really, really easy just to use a really adhesive, sticky, double-sided tape, and then you can just press as you go. And if you don't like the way the flower is coming off, you can just rip the fabric back and try again. So paper is definitely the most forgiving and easiest. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this one off. I'll just show you this end here quickly because it's just repeating the same process round and round in a circle. When you get to the end of the fabric, secure it to the back of the flower with a bit more tape. And if any of the backing cardstock shows, just trim it off with your scissors. If your fabric doesn't look as nice with the back side showing, you can fold the strip in half and iron it before you start. And that way when you twist the fabric, you'll see just the right side of the design and not the back. To finish the flower, add a Jenni Bowlin stick pin through the side of the flower. These pins have lovely little colored pearls and gems on the end. So you just stick it through and that will be an extra little guard to hold everything in place. Plus it looks cute. That's the obvious reason. So then just pull the pin back just a tiny little bit and you can tie ribbon or embroidery floss around the end of the pin there. And just get the bow to the size you like and then trim the ends off. I always end up with some extra because I can't tie it with the teeny tiny bit of thread. I have to cut a bit more. So just resize the bow until you get it the size that you want and trim off the end of the thread. There we go. Now this flower is going to go in the middle of the circle that we painted on the bingo card. I'm just going to hold it into place with more double-sided tape. There's a lot of double-sided tape in this project. Just press the flower onto the tape and then you'll be set. There we go. To add the bingo card to the garland, I'm going to add some brown ink to the edges of a shipping tag, and then I'm going to adhere the bingo card on top. You can also use a border punch along the bottom edge of the tag if you want to add a little bit extra to this design. I'm just going to show this one with a plain tag, and later I'll show you the scalloped edge along the bottom with a Fisker's border punch. Just adding some brown ink, and then put adhesive on the back of the bingo card and line it up. The bingo card has two little red lines down the side. Well, it has a red frame around the edge of the card, but if you use the lines down the side and match them up with the card, or match them up with the tag, then you'll get it perfectly straight. And that's that tag all finished. For the next tag, I'm going to start with a luggage tag that's been embossed with a Cuttlebug folder, so that has the Swiss dot texture. I'm also using a 12-inch strip of paper from the new Jenni Bowlin Red and Black collection. I used one width of the lace design of the paper, but you can use any that's about an inch or so wide. The wider your strip, the bigger the paper rosette will be. You'll also need 2 punch circles ready. So go ahead and cut those and have them ready with adhesive. To make the paper rosette with a long strip of paper, fold the strip back and forth like an accordion or a zigzag. The size of the fold is going to be the height of the paper rosette. So if you want it to be quite flat, then make lots of tiny little folds. If you want your rosette to be pretty tall, make really big folds. So you're going to, whatever size you want to use, fold the entire length of the paper. So obviously this takes a little while to just fold back and forth. It's easy. It just takes a little minute, so I'll show you this on a little bit of fast forward. Okay, so you get to the end, and you'll have this whole strip now folded into a little zigzag. There we go, little accordion. And you're going to want to take some double-sided tape or some strong adhesive, and you're going to adhere the two ends together to make a ring. So just loop around and the pattern paper is the pattern that you're going to show is going to be on the outside of the ring. Okay? Now with this little ring, now we make it into the rosette. You're going to take the top and push the top layer together and down toward the table, which will show you the rosette shape. But the thing is, as soon as you let go, it's going to pop back into that ring shape. So that's why you need 2 circles with double-sided tape ready to go. So you're going to press the top edge of the ring together and down toward the table, and then put the circle right on top and press it into place. Now you're starting to get there, then put the other one on the other side. And now the rosette should stick together and not pop back into that ring shape. Now, depending on the size of your rosette, you can add a variety of things in the middle. Check the sizes of your circle punches to see if there's anything you'd quite like to layer. Since this rosette's quite small, I just added a button because those other punches were too big. So this is from the Vintage Sew-On Buttons by Jenni Bowlin, and this is the smallest button shape in the pack. Tie some embroidery floss through the buttonholes and then secure it with adhesive, the glue dot, whatever you want to use. And that's your rosette all ready to go. To match the other tags in the garland, I added some brown ink to the edges and also brushed a bit of ink over the top to pick up the embossed design. To finish the tag, I'm going to use some old book paper for the background. I love working with old papers like this because you can tear them into size rather than always needing scissors or a trimmer. Just use the tag as a guide and fold the paper to the size you want, and then tear along the folds. Just add the book page to the center, and then add the paper rosette to the middle of the square, and then that tag's finished. Make as many paper rosette tags as you would like for your whole garland. There we go. Now, there's just one other design I used in the garland, and it's really, really easy. I glued a scrap of fabric to the tag and then punched different sizes of circles and scallop circles from red and green papers, and then just stacked them up with adhesive and pop dots. So you get a little stack of layers with the biggest circle on the bottom of the stack, and then top with another of the vintage sew-on buttons. I cut the bottom of the tag on this one to make points, but you can leave it plain if you prefer. Now, there are 3 tag designs then, and they repeat throughout the banner. So just make as many as you would like, and line them all up in the order that you want. And then punch a scalloped circle to go in between each tag, and those will act as spacers for your garland. It'll help it hang a little bit better as well. Then I ran the whole thing through the sewing machine on just a plain straight running stick. So the whole thing was just sewn together, or you could use a ribbon glued to the back of everything if you prefer not to sew. Thanks so much for joining us, and Merry Christmas from me, Shamel, and from Jenni Bowlin Studios.